Peace, family. My name is Michael Jordan, aka the Sirius Alchemist. Welcome back to another Saturday book review. I appreciate everybody's tuning in. If you're new to the channel, if you're first time here, please hit that like button for me, and subscribe for me. And if you want to be notified when every time I drop a new video, hit that little bell over there on the side, and it'll let you know every time I drop a new video. But welcome back, family. Today's book review is a good one. Matter of fact, I got a few books today. And today's discussion, I decided to do one about the devil. Because I'm starting to realize that we are word-controlled creatures. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the word God, if you add an extra O, God is good. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the word evil, you put a D in front of evil, then you get the devil. You know what I'm saying? They're just words. You feel me? You know, we get so spooked out by these words. We don't know the origin of where they came from or nothing. As soon as we hear the word devil, we all spooked out. And we got to stop that. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to do the book review. I'll put a few books together to clear up this mystical, creepy character, the devil, right? We're going to clear this up today. So the first book I got, we're going into is the complete book of Devils and Demons by Dr. Leonard R.N. Ashley, right? This is scholarship I'm giving y'all, families. This ain't no bull. That's why I'm putting books in front of you. The complete book of Devils and Demons by Dr. Leonard R.N. Ashley. And I'm going to read something from the back. You know what I'm saying? Like I always do. You feel me? Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. From demons, fallen angels, and monsters of folklore to devil worship and satanic pacts, humans have tried to define and combat evil throughout the centuries. Worried about demonic influences in your own life or just curious to learn more? The complete book of Devils and Demons will answer all the questions you've been considering, and even those you didn't know you had. This detailed book, complete with illustrations, will introduce readers to the malevolent forces associated with many world religions. Read within to learn about zombies and the undead who prey on the living, voodoo and ritual magic, demons who should be courted for power versus those who carry deadly diseases, the princes of hell, selling your soul to the devil, possession and exorcism, and much, much more. The complete book of Devils and Demons is a thorough journey through the history of the dark side. Right? Dr. Leonard R.N. Ashley, PhD, Princeton, LHD, Columbia Theological. This is some serious scholarship, family. Here, this is a doctor. First of all, he got doctor in front of his name, which don't really mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? He did a lot of study, a lot of work, but this is scholarship. PhD, he get a PhD in Princeton, LHD, Columbia Theological. Is a professor emeritus of Brooklyn College of the City University of New York and has published more than 20 books on literary history, linguistics, onomastics, and geolinguistics, military history, folklore, popular culture, and the occult. He lives in Brooklyn, New York. Goes by the name of Dr. Leonard R.N. Ashley, the complete books of Devils and Demons. And you know what really caught my attention, family, when he's back here and when he says the complete book of Devils and Demons is a thorough journey through the history of the dark side. And there's a verse in the Bible, I believe it's Isaiah 45:3, where it says, I will give you the treasures of darkness. It says that in the Bible. I will give you the treasures of darkness. Matter of fact, let me look it up and tell you exactly what it says, that verse, and give you the exact verse, because I don't want to give you nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all to go back and say, shit, I learned this from the Sirius Alchemist, and he told it to me wrong. It says, I will give you the treasures of darkness and the riches hidden in secret places, so that you may know that I am the Lord thy God. You feel me? That's Isaiah 45:3, for those that want to check that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, back to the book. this character, the devil, is, like I was saying in the beginning, man, we are word controlled creatures. And we got to start looking at the origin of these words and go to the etymology, where these words come from. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, God, you add an extra O, God is good. And again, evil, you put a D in front of evil, you get the devil. Who is this devil character they've given us in these religions? Does this devil really exist? Or does anybody even care? Does everybody just want to run around believing there's a devil out here trying to destroy your life? You feel me? Because that's what religion teaches. But when you start to grab these books from these scholars, you'll get to understand a lot of things. So I'm gonna read a little something from you in here. Let me see, where is the page at that I wanted to read? Yeah, here we go. This is on page 161, and it says, why women rather than men are most often witches. The Dominicans who wrote the Malleus Maleficarium derived femina from fee and minus, because women are, in their opinion, deceitful and imperfect, made from a bent rib, and most of all, ever weaker to hold and preserve the faith than men are. These monks were, of course, celibate. The not celibate but homosexual King James, in his demonology, says that women are frailer and more easily duped by the devil. Ain't that some shit? Eliphas Levi, the celibate priest who left the priesthood, says women are better at sorcery because they are more easily transported by excess of passion. A modern woman in the craft tells me that it is because the devil has sex with his followers and the devil is heterosexual. I hope that the complete big book of Devils and Demons will reach not only practicing witches, most of whom are women, but all feminists. Dido, for the history of witchcraft is intricately bound up with the misogyny of both ecclesiastical and secular institutions down the ages. Those who persecuted witches were trying their damnedest to put their male monotheism in the places of the goddess and the goddesses of polytheism. And they feared and perhaps envied the powers of women, creative, intuitive, and more. Witchcraft is a chapter in the history of the oppression of women, perhaps can be a part of the history of women's liberation. Ooh, that's some powerful shit right there, family. Get the book. The complete book of Devils and Demons. It's not what you think it is. You know what I'm saying? Don't believe what I say. Look, check it out for yourself. Get the book for yourself. But that killed it right there. You know what I'm saying? And I got another little something here. I think there's some images in here I want to share too. Some images that are so-called most commonly used as the devil, or images of the devil, so-called. And we get all these images, right? But humans catching hell right here on Earth, right? By humans. You know what I'm saying? Certain humans acting like bullies out here, telling you can't say this, you can't say that, you can't say nothing about this race of people. Just look around. You'll see who the real devil is if you just look and pay attention to what's going on around you. But anyway, back to the book. This is a Babylonian demon, y'all. That's a Babylonian demon, so-called. All right? Okay, a Babylonian demon, a fatal disease from a wall in Nineveh, right? And then I want to read this last little part. I'm going to go to this next book that I have for y'all in today's book review. Now, here's another so-called image of the devil, right? That's the Baphomet. That has nothing to do with the devil. This is the farthest thing from a devil. I'm finna break it down to you right now. The horns symbolize strength and virility and power, right? The wings symbolize expansion of consciousness, right? The breast, the female breast right there, symbolize the power of the feminine energy, right? The power of the feminine. And then you got the two snakes at his waist, the Ida and the Pingala, which is the same symbol as the what is that symbol called? The round symbol with the I can't think of the name of it right now. It'll come to me in a minute. But the Ida and Pingala, that just represents the balance of opposites, the polarity. That's all it represents. And then you got animal feet, which represents the human side, the animalistic side of being human. Nothing spooky about it. You know what I'm saying? You got to look these things up for yourself. But right here under it says, I'm going to read next to the page, it says a host of demons. About the middle of the 15th century, Alphonsus D. Spina published at Strasbourg his Forticium Fidei, Fortress of the Faith, defending Christian principles against Jews, infidels, and devils. He himself was a converso, a Jew who became first a humble Franciscan and later a professor at the University of Salamanca and a bishop. He was father confessor to John of Castile and was very well connected. He was considered to be a sane and sensible authority on matters theological. D. Spina calculated the number of devils in the high millions. However, things are getting better for the beleaguered innocents because we can reproduce and devils cannot. The population of the world today in billions outnumbers the devils in millions, though there were fewer humans than devils in his day. Despina calculated, in line with various doctors of the church, Despina saw the world as threatened by hordes of fallen angels and other dangers, right? So, and he goes on to say, let me see. That was just one little paragraph, just said, was talking about how many demons are there. But like I said, I got the statue right there. That's the same statue right there. There ain't nothing demonistic or spooky about it. Do your research. That's all you got to do is do your research, family. And that'll tell you the real deal. You know what I'm saying? And there's one other little piece I wanted to read in here to y'all. I thought very, very profound. Okay, let's see. And it says, I think right here, names of the devil on page 33. It is said that our dialects are provided with some 40 names for the enemy of mankind, circumlocutions, sometimes half propitiatory, which aim at avoiding a dreaded name. One of his more picturesque titles in the Earl of Hell, and it is refreshing to find that as black as the Earl of Hell's waistcoat, describing a dark night, is still used by the imaginative Robert Burns' address to the devil begins. O thou, whatever title suit thee, Auld Horny, Satan, Nick, or Clutie. Edgar, in his character, or Tom of Bedlam, pretended madman in Shakespeare's King Lear, proclaims that the Prince of Darkness is a gentleman. Modo, he's called a Mahu. You know what I'm saying? So family, get this book if you want to understand more about this so-called character, the devil. The Complete Book of Devils and Demons, Dr. Leonard R.N. Ashley. Great book to have in your library to kind of get an understanding. Because when you get an understanding of stuff, you really understand what it is. So we're going to go to the next book, family. Let me get a sip of water real quick. Next book is A History of the Devil. I don't know if y'all can see that. I don't know, the light kind of glares it. It's The History of the Devil by Gerald Masadi, Messadi, Gerald Masadi, A History of the Devil. An unorthodox comparative history of religion from the dark side by a best-selling theologian. The biggest ruse of the devil is making us believe that he doesn't exist, claimed Baudelaire. On the contrary, argues best-selling historian and critic Gerald Masadi, the true evil lies in the fact that we believe in him at all. Now, why would he say that, family? Because this man is well-read, well-educated on the subject. That's why he would say that. A history of the devil is a provocative exploration of the personification of evil through the ages and across cultures. Masadi reveals that the Satan of Judeo-Christian mythology, the antithesis of God and good, was a concept unknown to the Greeks, Romans, Egyptians, Hindus, and Chinese. I'm going to say that again, family, in case y'all didn't hear me. And this is the book, A History of Devils, by Gerald Masadi. Some more scholarship, scholarly work. It says, A History of the Devil is a provocative exploration of the personification of evil through the ages and across cultures. Masadi reveals that the Satan of Judeo-Christian mythology, the antithesis of God and good, was a concept unknown to the Greeks, Romans, Egyptians, Hindus, and Chinese. In fact, the devil was probably invented 6 centuries before the Common Era by Persian clergy eager to demonize their political adversaries. So imagine the devil being used as a political tool, and some of y'all never probably even thought about the devil being used. Because let me tell you something about one culture that overtook a culture that preceded it. What it would do, it would demonize everything they did and to try to make their culture better than the preceding culture. So everything they did that they done conquered, they demonize it. So imagine one get conquered, they demonize their shit. Another nation come in, conquer these people, demonize their stuff, hoping they don't rise again. So that's why they do it. To try to make their culture seem stronger than the prior culture. Right? And it says, ever since, the image of evil has been a useful tool of the powerful, but religious and secular, from the prosecutors of the Spanish Inquisition to the cold warriors of our own time. In 17 absorbing chapters, Masadi researches the genealogy of the devil in the world's major civilizations. Family, you can't get a more serious work than this. This man is thorough. He's giving you the real, not what the preacher giving you in the pulpit at the church every Sunday. He's giving you the real deal. You know what I'm saying? And this book ain't but $17. History of the Devil, Gerald Masadi. From Asia and Europe to Africa and North America, he examines the devil's role in each culture and the evolution of his various incarnations throughout history. Abundant in historical references and cultural analysis, A History of the Devil shows that it is precisely the belief in the devil that lies at the root of religious fanaticism around the world today. Gerald Masadi studied at École des Langues Orientales in Paris and is the author of 15 books in French. His works have been widely translated in Europe. His works have been widely translated in Europe. That's why you got to get a lot of his stuff. His stuff is on point. So let me read something out of here, family, like I always do. Let me see. What do I want to read here? Because I got a couple parts. Yeah, this is what I want to read. And this is profound. So hopefully, this will make somebody go out and grab this book, because this book is worth every penny, folks. Family, A History of the Devil, Gerald Masadi, highly engaging and provocative cultural history. Okay, Gnosticism had the church fathers on the defensive until around the 5th century. Had it become accepted, its devil would have been an incurable sickness, and the ideas of sin and redemption wouldn't have been worth a copper coin. The disturbing abundance of messiahs with Simon Magus, whom Jesus met in Samaria. In the lead, they included Decetus, Menander, Apollonius of Tyana, every last one of them Gnostics, forced the church to mobilize its greatest powers, especially considering the fact that potential allies such as Bar Kokhba in 2nd century Palestine, an implacable enemy of Rome, whom one would have thought might look favorably upon the Christians, persecuted the church with a hatred that grew more bitter the more it claimed Jesus to be the true Messiah. In addition, the Sabians, the followers of the John the Baptist who had announced the coming of Christ, turned out to be deadly enemies. Simon's disciples were still flourishing in the 3rd century, and John the Baptist survived through the beginning of the 20th. Virulent eradication thus became commonplace, and many of the day's writers and writings have only survived thanks to men like Irenaeus or Hippolytus or Iphanaeus, whom the other church fathers tried to wipe out through anathemas, and to whose teaching Christians were forbidden from lending either ear or eye. In Laodicea, as in Alexandria, in Ephesus, as in Dyrrhachium, fierce amounts were written, and copious treasures of rhetoric and argument were expended to hold the Gnostic plague in check. The process of expurgation, which went on for 5 centuries, was effective. Gnosticism at last gave up the ghost. It came very near to disappearing forever, and would have had not an entire Gnostic library been found by chance in Egypt in 1945. They talk about the Dead Sea Scrolls. They talk about the Gnosis. They talk about the Gnostic scriptures that was dug up in Egypt in 1945. Some 60 treatises that somehow escaped the censors. Their important rivals, that of the Dead Sea Scrolls and understanding the sources of Christianity, had Gnosticism prevailed, Marshall Simon writes, it would have meant the end of Christianity, which have dissolved into the general syncretism. The worst thing for the early church was that the Gnostics were in an advantageous position since their religion was very close to those of the empire. They were never persecuted. By virtue of this preferred treatment, they were likely to outlast Christianity. And I don't need to go no further, family, with that. Those who know, or he who has an ear, let him hear. Get the book. History of the Devil, Gerald Masadi. Excellent book to have in your library, family. Go to the next one. Pacts with the Devil. Ooh, that scared everybody. I know that one. Everybody got scared. Some of y'all jumped out the video. Turn your screens off. But yeah, Pacts with the Devil by S. Jason Black and Christopher S. Hyatt. This is an excellent piece to have in your library, just to try to wrap your mind around what's going on. You need this book in your library, just to try to wrap your mind on what's really happening with all these religions. You need this. And why they need a scapegoat called the devil, and why they need to scare you away from stuff like that, because they know that's your power source. And it came from you. It didn't come from them. He Johnny come lately. He know it didn't come from him, but he used it. He used it every day. But back to the content. Back to the content. I want to show y'all some of the images in this book, because this book got some hell of an images. And this is a powerful book for those that ain't scared to look into it. But look at this so-called devil, and I'm going to show some, and a lot of brothers and sisters need to see this. Look at some images of the first devil. Y'all see that afro? Y'all see that Moorish attire they got on? Y'all see that? That's all science in those images. They ain't none of that spooky about no damn devil. And you see, ain't neither one of them got no horns. You see what I'm saying? So when they trying to demonize somebody, they trying to demonize, you know who they trying to demonize, because they always say devil's food cake is dark, devil's this is black, and you know, everything associated with darkness is evil and this and that. So you know who they trying to tear down. The originals. You feel me? So y'all get this book and look into it. And let me show you some other images in this book. So some other images so y'all don't, you know what I'm saying, y'all get scared. And I'm going to read this one. Check them out. Check them images out. Right? And this one says, according to the Grimoire Verum, he is the black man said to preside over the witches' Sabbath. traditionally a lord of perverse eroticism, right? And then in this one, Beelzebub, according to the Grimoire Verum, the fly on the throne is a reference to his title, Lord of the Flies, right? Somebody lied to you. Somebody told you some lies. You know what I'm saying? When they had you in that little schoolhouse, they was casting some spells on you. Because when they taught you how to spell, best believe they was casting spells. They was casting spells. So you don't look into this and get your true power. You know what I'm saying? Why they behind closed doors consulting with astrologers. Every president in the nation consult with astrologers. You didn't know that. They all consult with astrologers. Look at that. These are so-called images of the devil. Look at that. Family, get the book. Don't believe nothing I say. Get the book and read it for yourself. Let me get some water. My mouth's getting dry. This is an excellent book, family, because I remember when I first got it, I was in this book, man, day and night. Open my eyes this wide. My eyes was open wide. So I'm telling y'all, get this book, family. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to read this from page 100, and it's called The Third Eye of Lucifer. I got it marked and everything, so let y'all know that I am, reading from the book. It's called The Third Eye of Lucifer. As an interesting sidelight to Shiva, Dionysus, Lucifer connection, we make note of one of the accounts of the Holy Grail, beloved of medieval mystics. In Parsifal, the Grail stone, it was originally described as a stone, not a cup, was an emerald that fell from the brow of Lucifer as he was hurled to earth by Jehovah. This would correspond to the idea of the third eye, or Ajna chakra, which is the gift that one who finds the Grail expects to receive. It is never clearly stated, but considering the symbolism of the story, it is reasonable to assume that the successful seeker is given the spiritual perception of an archangel. Was this not the goal of Phos? There is said to be a pearl in the forehead of Shiva called the Urna, which enabled him to perceive eternity. Is this an interesting parallel, or did some crusader or traitor bring this tradition back from the East and create the beginnings of Grail mysticism? There is another, perhaps even more central precursor to the Christian devil, Prometheus, the fire bringer. And we all know the story of Prometheus, who stole fire from the gods and gave it to man. You know what I'm saying? And then he was chained to a mountain and was tortured to death by some birds, was pecked to death or pecked eternally by some birds, pecked his flesh. So, you know what I'm saying? These stories are, a lot of these are historic. A lot of these are older mythologies that became historicalized. Like Bobby always used to say, sublime mythology becomes horror. How do you say it? I can't remember how Bobby used to say it, but he used to say sublime mythology becomes horrid history. You know what I'm saying? When people lose the meaning, because this was sublime mythology. And then these people that are, I'd say the powers that were, are using this stuff to control the world. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. But y'all get this book. This book is worth having in your library. Pacts with the Devil. If you can get past the title. Because a lot of people ain't going to be able to get past this title. I already know that. But I know my videos is for those. It's some people going to see it and some people ain't. I already know that. And I don't care. And I know those who see it are supposed to see it. And those who ain't supposed to see it ain't. So, that's how it's going to go. But get the book by S. Jason Black and Christopher S. Hyatt, PhD. For y'all out there that don't understand that this is scholarship. This ain't no this is scholarship that I'm giving y'all. So, yeah. And I'm going to read this over here. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully this will spark something in somebody to go get the book. Here we have a powerful supernatural being bringing a forbidden and life-changing boon to the human race. Like Lucifer, he is literally the light bringer. Also like Lucifer, he is cast out of heaven and relegated to a kind of hell, right? To where we at, basically. Of course, all this is done in a rather different order than in the Christian myth, but the essential elements are the same. The big difference is that Prometheus was looked upon as a hero, and Lucifer for performing the same kind of service, you shall be as gods, is looked upon as an incarnation of evil. Because Lucifer represents, bruh, get the book. I want y'all to understand this. That's why I do these book reviews, because I want y'all to get the book so y'all can understand. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn about views. I'm here for a certain people. I'm here for spiritual beings. I ain't here for human beings. I'm here for spiritual beings. You know what I'm saying? I ain't here for everybody. I know some people watch the videos for entertainment. That's fine too. But I'm here for them spiritual beings. And you know who you are. The light beings. And it said, we should point out a major irony. Not only did Dionysus and Prometheus contribute to the myth of the devil, but they were equally major contributors to the Jesus myth as well. Both gods came to earth and brought new knowledge to man. Both died for the effort, and one, Dionysus, was resurrected and ascended to heaven. These are only two of nearly a dozen dying gods. Y'all, there's a lot of dying gods if you study and read. It wasn't just one. You feel me? Study. The truth is out there. You know what I'm saying? Prometheus was the subject of a major revival on 2 occasions. First, Milton's Satan has been widely compared to Prometheus in his heroic attitude of unrepentant rebellion and assertion of self over authority. Milton himself would be appalled by this, but as Blake said, he was obliviously of the devil's party without knowing it. Y'all get this book, Pacts with the Devil. S. Jason Black, Christopher S. Hyatt, PhD. Excellent book. Excellent book. Did I read the back? Let me read the back. I didn't read the back. Pacts with the Devil, a chronicles of sex, blasphemy, and liberation. For the first time, a genuine manual of the dreaded left-hand path, braving the new witchcraft panic that has swept America. S. Jason Black and Christopher S. Hyatt have written a book that places the Western magical tradition and the Western psyche in perspective, sweeping aside both the historical fabrications of neo-paganism and the rampant mental illness of the religious right. Black and Hyatt explore history, psychology, and anthropology to reveal the true secret doctrine of Western culture. This work confronts the reader with his own fears and inhibitions and carries him beyond. Comprehensively illustrated, this volume contains a detailed history of the European black magic and includes new editions of 17th and 18th century grimoires with detailed instructions for their use. Now, let me tell y'all something, family. The word grimoire, if you do the word grimoire, if you do a etymology on the word grimoire, you'll get the word grammar. And the word grimoire means to cast a spell or to cast an evil spell. That's what it means. Look it up. Don't believe me. Look it up for yourself. Grimoire. But if you do an etymology search on the word grimoire, it came out of the word grammar came out of the word grimoire. So think about that for a second. Where do we learn about the grammar? Where do we learn grammar at? Where did we learn grammar? The word grammar comes from the word grimoire. Don't believe me, do the etymology search on the word. Just do it. And that'll tell you everything you need to know. So we learning grammar every day. Or are we learning grimoires? Or somebody putting spells on somebody with this grammar? Okay, I'm gonna get to the next book. The Secret History of Lucifer by Lynn Picknett. And the meaning of the true Da Vinci Code, right? Revealing the secret of Leonardo's Luciferian symbols, the real Da Vinci Code. In her revelatory new account of an old religion, Lynn Picknett explains that Lucifer literally means the light bringer. That's all it means. Y'all sitting up here thinking Lucifer so spooked out by that word, man. Y'all got to learn the origin of these words, man. We should stop being controlled by words. They just words, yo. Let's look at the origin of these things, and that'll lead you to the truth. Just go to the origin. But anyway, Lucifer was a personification of the morning star. Wasn't Jesus called the morning star in the Bible? Yes, he was. He was called the bright and morning star. The planet Venus and its goddess. He was therefore originally she, a divine representation of love, light, and human warmth. Indeed, many ancient goddesses were known as Lucifera, an honor extended to Mary Magdalene in her true role as goddess, worshiping priestess as Christ's successor. The early Christian church appropriated the name Lucifer to give the archangel who was banished from heaven, and it later became synonymous with darkness and the devil. Yet through history, many great thinkers have covertly followed the old Luciferian way, and most famous of them all was Leonardo da Vinci. He encrypted the symbols of his heretical beliefs in his work, visible only to those who have the key. And the key is learning how to read this stuff symbolically, esoterically, or allegorically. So, spiritual beings, get these books because they will help you evolve. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, everything ain't in books. Like I always say, you can get information through meditation. You can channel information through various ways. But books are a damn good start, family. Trust me. Books are a damn good start. Okay, so I'm going to read something out of here. Give me a sip of water real quick. And I'm going to read this out of here, from out of here. Okay, yeah. This is page 71, and it's on the chapter called A Woman Called Lucifer. And it says, of course, a zealous Christian will simply deny the authenticity of the secret gospel and carry on believing as if it had never been drawn to his or her attention. After all, there is a distinct architecture to the faith. Significant constructs are made that surround the character and the traditions of Christ. Dogma that then becomes immovable, and the whole carapace hardens with time and belief. But what if the implications of the secret gospel are sound? What if Jesus's movement was really based on initiation and mysteries, including rites of a strongly erotic or even sexual nature? Suddenly, what was considered demonic, devilish, satanic would be inexorably linked with Jesus Christ, hitherto the very epitome and literal embodiment of noble chastity. It is surely unthinkable. Man, y'all need to get these books, family. These books tell you the real deal. And what else? Let's see. This right here says the early Christian fathers denounced the temples dedicated to the foul devil who goes by the name of Venus, a school of wickedness for all the votaries of unchastness. What this meant was that they were schools of instruction in sexual techniques under the tutelage of divinatory or harlot priestesses. They taught an approach to spiritual grace called Vinaya through sexual exercises like those of Tantrism, the Eastern cult of sacred sex. So, family, man, these books tell you what time it is. And then I got this last but not least, the last but final book, if you want to understand this devil character, Fallen Angels by Bernard J. Bomberger. Try to see that because that light kind of, you know, Fallen Angels, Soldiers of Satan's Realm, Bernard J. Bomberger. And it says, fallen angels, soldiers of Satan's realm. For thousands of years, people have told stories of fallen angels, heavenly beings corrupted by pride and lust, who in their descent brought confusion and suffering into the world. Fallen angels, soldiers of Satan's realm, traces the history of the belief in fallen angels in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Bomberger examines the fall of Satan, the creation of Lilith, and many other intriguing myths and superstitions, and explores their development as part of religious tradition, art, and philosophy. He explores, why is there evil in the world? Why do pain and suffering come upon those who do not seem to deserve it? Written in a clear, popular style, Baumberger's classic book, first published in 1952, will speak to anyone who is curious to learn how these questions have been answered in the past or are being answered by others today. Okay, family, I'm going to read something out of here. This is a really good book. This is one of my favorites. Out of the ones I've shown you today, this is my favorite one. I mean, it really is. This is a good book. Sometimes I find myself, I can't get out of this book. And but I'm gonna read this for y'all. Yeah, we're gonna read this right here on page 53. Now, I'd like to get a page number so if somebody gets the book, they could read it and know that what I was reading was coming from the book. You know what I'm saying? So get the book. It's worth having. It's worth having in your library, especially if you want to understand this stuff, or you want to run around, you know, spooked out like everybody else. But anyway, it says Josephus was much concerned with public relations. His older contemporary, Philo of Alexandria, had loftier aims in consonance with his earnest and deeply religious nature. Philo was convinced that the entire scripture, especially the Torah, is an allegory of spiritual truths, and he tirelessly searched the holy books to discover their profounder meaning. A brief but beautiful treatise concerning the giants is devoted to the interpretation of Genesis 6. Philo, as usual, bases his exposition on the Greek translation of the Bible, and his copy of the text contained the rendering angels of God only. Had he found the phrase sons of God in his text, he most certainly would have been inspired to comment on it. Philo denies that the passage is a myth. We have no reason, he holds, to deny the existence of creatures who live in the air. Some of these beings keep themselves perfectly pure of earthliness. Others sully themselves with material desires. Souls and demons and angels are but different names for the same one object. Knowledge of this fact will keep us free from superstitious dread of the demons. For just as the words soul and in Greek demon are applied both to good and evil beings, so too the title angel is given both to the spirits who have kept themselves free of physical desire and those who have succumbed to its lures. Of such our passage speaks who, instead of courting the daughters of right reason, woo pleasure. And again, says Philo, the mention of the giants is not a myth. It is to teach us that some men are earthborn, a word play on giants, gigas, giggings, while others are heaven-born and the highest are God-born. While Philo is so insistent that Genesis 6 does not contain a myth, obviously because a mythological interpretation of the story was current, but even as an allegory, the popular tale is objectionable to him. Philo has a special reason for this. Following his master, Plato, Philo is a philosophical dualist. Matter and spirit are sharply sundered entities, radically opposed to each other. Matter is evil, mind is good, or matter is unreal, spirit is real. Philo can therefore not conceive of beings both immaterial and wicked. The angels can become evil only by descent into material forms. Thus, the angels could not have desired mortal women until they had first committed the cardinal sin of donning materiality. This is not very different from the descent of the human soul into the body, which Plato had described as a sort of fall. And Plato echoes the idea in this very treatise. But this philosophical dualism has little connection with the dualistic mythology we are examining. For Philo, the fallen angels are not rebels against God, nor the source of human corruption. Yet, the Hellenistic world did not know a cycle of dualistic myths, which bear the general label Gnostic. We shall say something of these in our next chapter. Oh, family, this book right here is worth its weight in gold. And that's just one little piece I read out of here. Fallen Angels by Bernard J. Baumberger, Bamberger. Get the book. My name is Michael Jordan, a.k.a. the Sirius Alchemist. If you would like a reading from me, hit me up in the email. I'm going to leave my description box. Again, if you're new to the channel, you like the content, smash up that like button, subscribe, You know what I'm saying? Hit the little bell so you'll be notified when I release new videos. So that's the end of my book review for this Saturday. Y'all have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Peace.